You are about to enter the Red and Rev Sports Show experience. Get ready for some real sports talk from some real sports fans who were real sports athletes who have sports knowledge.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, wherever you are in this United States of America or overseas. Last week was just good old-fashioned, plain, downright hate. You had those hate games scheduled where people didn't really like each other. They were pre-game fights. This week is all about pride. It's all about who's going to represent the college football universe in the playoffs. You got several contenders and who are pretenders. But like I say all the time, I've been saying it all week. My main word for the day is chaos. I want chaos. I want all kind of problems. Many don't get to sleep at night. Plus, we got some NFL news. We got some big games coming up in the NFL this week. But hey, why waste your time? Gonna get right to it in time, ladies and gentlemen. Synchronize your watches. The Red and Real Sports Show begins right now. Here we go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Red and Rev Sports Show. Coach is coming to you live from the ATL, while Rev is coming to you from someplace in Chester County, Pennsylvania, where I have a workable laptop situation. But nevertheless, we come to give you real sports talk because we are real sports fans who are real sports athletes who have what, Coach?
Real sports
knowledge. So hang out with your boys, Rev and Coach, for episode 303 of the Red and Rev Sports Show. And as is our sports custom, we're going to turn back our attention to Coach Patrick Thomas, who's going to give us something or someone that consists of these three numbers, 303. What you got for us, Coach?
Well, again, good morning, everybody. I'm going to say current NFL. I'm going to go with one of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL right now. He got picked in the third round, and he had a good start to the season. Kind of fell off a little bit, but now there is a rebirth, a Lazarus situation, if you will, of a man who went to the Super Bowl. Should have had more than one, but hey, he won a Super Bowl, but now he's back. His name is number 3 for Armani's Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson. Number 3 for 303, drafted in the third round. So here we go.
All right, one Russell Wilson, who is on a redemption tour right now, looks like, and Armani's just cheesing from sea to shining sea. And he's relevant again since he's Russell Wilson's lookalike. So now when Armani walks around Virginia, folk think he's Russell Wilson. So now he's excited. I'll give you a quick anecdote since we got a little time, since the panel's shorter today. When I played college basketball at Morehouse, we used to go to like different towns. I remember us going to Augusta, and we played Augusta College or Augusta State. One is called something now, Augusta State, something like that, whatever. So, most of those kind of towns aren't accustomed to seeing all these tall dudes, black dudes. And this was way before, the surge of the internet where people could Google you and before camera phones. So I used to walk around like I was Grant Hill because I had a bald head at the time. And I was like, Grant Hill, Grant Hill. Started autographs because he was relevant at that time. And then a couple of my teammates, one person said he was Dominique Wilkins, man. It was crazy, man. But yeah, Armani, he's so excited, man. His look-alike is rocking and rolling. Now he's relevant again. And you can just see how he's been cheesing the last few episodes now that the Broncos are winning. He just can't get enough of looking like Russell at this time. So God bless him. All right, nevertheless, let's jump right into it. Let's welcome Revenite Nation on today. I think one of our co-hosts might be doing the show from the chat all show. And if that's the case, that's all well good. What's up with you, Brother Winston? Glad to have you. Red Rhodes is in the house. What's up, Red, who the show is half named after? Glad to have you. Make sure you're working so that you can still have a job. We haven't got to the point where we can pay you not to work at UPS. Make sure you take care of UPS business. Mo, what's up with you, man? Glad to have you. The VP is in the building, slamming down the gavel to begin another fire session of the Red and Rev Sports Show. God bless you. Mo said, I have a similar story. All right, so you know what that looks like. All right, got you. Brother Dana, glad to have you, man. Good morning to you. And Red is laughing out loud, I guess, what he said about we don't have money to pay you, bro. So make sure you pay attention to UPS more than you pay attention to the show. Feel free to chime in, let us know that you're tuning in. Feel free to post whatever comments that you may have, and we'll feature them on the screen. Also, if you don't mind, go ahead on and share this broadcast. Let some people know you are watching the Red and Rev Sports Show on this Saturday morning. Who knows, your share might be the share to bring somebody else in too, knowing about the show and also joining one of the best nations this side of heaven called the Revanite Nation. What's up over there on YouTube, Brother G? Glad to have you. Yeah, man, I played with Mustafa. Yeah, man. We went to the same high school, but I didn't play with him in high school because when he was a senior, he was playing varsity. I was only playing JV at the time. But then when I went to Morehouse, we played one season together. He was a fifth-year senior because he was a big-time a biology major. So when I came in my freshman year, he redshirted and we played together my sophomore year, which was his fifth year, man. Moose, great guy, man. Great guy. That's all I can say. The VP says Red Rose needs to go over to the IRREG line. They're getting back. All right. Let's jump on in here, Coach. And you know how we always start the Red and Red Sports Show. We started with the Dope Note and Coach segment. I'm about to say section. My goodness. Segment of the show. So, Coach, it's just the two of us, so I'm not going to go single screen on today. What you doping on, sir?
Well, I have my moment to win. The man that called Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant, who recently passed Moses Malone to be the 10th all-time scorer in NBA history. I'm sure Durant will probably pass a few people on the way. For right now, he has moved into the top 10 all-time in scoring. So my dope moment goes to the Slim Reaper, Kevin Durant.
Oh, yeah. All right, Coach, you have come a long way, man. You gone from calling him a coward to giving him your dope moment, man. Grace and mercy is coming through this morning.
I recognize his legendariness. I'm going to give him some props, even though he did. Well, I'm going to stop that. Kevin Durant, that's all I'm going to say. Legendariness.
All right, I'm doping on the fact that Dan Lennon is now playing for clicks rather than championships. With Oregon losing on yesterday, this dude wanted to make a name for himself, running up the score against Colorado, which he knew was an inferior team because they didn't have neither an offensive line nor defensive line. So he wanted to make his name great at Deion's expense. And now you can make your name great playing in a regular bowl game, not a bowl game that's going to be contending for the championship. So now we're grateful you can live what you preach to your team. Y'all are playing kicks and not championships. And the church said, amen.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent.
All right, man, I'm keeping that same vein with my note moment. My note moment goes to Bo Nix. No, you are not the Heisman Trophy winner. No, you are not a big-time college quarterback. No, you're not even a big-time first-round draft pick. It has been sickening to me how we have allowed this dude who's been in college football for 6-7 years now to be looked at as a prime time prospect when we know, especially as Georgia fans, what this dude really was and is when we played him twice when he played for Auburn. Then we drilled him last year during his first year in Oregon, and now he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. Lord have mercy. Where have the good players gone? And college is a candidate to be a Heisman Trophy winner. But nevertheless, we can stop that talk. Hopefully, they have already canceled his ticket to New York because he has gotten beaten by Michael Penix not once, but twice. So that should seal Michael Penix's fate. I mean, that should seal Bo Nix's fate as not winning the college football big trophy called the Heisman Trophy. So that's my note moment. As you can see, I'm feeling good about that Oregon loss. Coach, what are you noting on, sir?
My no moment goes to Cabrillo Peppers of the New England Patriots. Mr. Peppers, when you're wearing a microphone or somebody else is next to you with a microphone, you don't talk bad about your football team that you play for. He said some discouraging remarks about his own New England Patriots teams, even though they are very, very hot garbage this year. You don't call them what you call them in front of a hot microphone, sir. And of course, he did the PR. I apologize. I'm just frustrated. Blah blah blah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Mr. Peppers, you kind of bounced around from team to team, and you ain't exactly setting the world on fire. Even though he is leading the team in tackles, I believe, but still. I don't know if you may be with the New England Patriots next year. I'm sure you'll probably be happy to be paroled, but for right now, that was a mistake. So, Mr. Cabrillo Peppers, don't talk about your team with the mic on, brother. Not good.
Well, that's a clear example, Coach, of how the mighty have fallen, because there would have been a day and time where that type of statement would have been an immediate removal of the team. But Bill Belichick is no more in a power position to really dictate a lot of stuff, because the New England Patriots are hot garbage. So we see now how the tide has definitely shifted in New England, where he no longer has that kind of power, because back when he was on the throne, Brother Peppers would have been cut by now. But you see, times have definitely changed in New England. All right, we're coming right back to you, Coach. Give us your Coke moment.
Well, I think I might take my glasses off. My Coke moment goes to one Eldrick Tiger Woods. Tiger, it's time. It's time. You have done all you can do for the sport of golf. You don't need to prove anything to anybody, because you were recognized as one of the top golfers in the history of golf. But watching you play golf right now, I don't know what to say. And if Aaron Rodgers is watching, you better take hint to what Tiger's doing out there, limping around trying to recover from a leg injury, before you make the mistake and get out there and try to play football. So my Coke moment goes to young Eldrick Tiger Woods as he tries to keep a career going that just might be over due to these injuries he's suffering with his legs. You know, the golfer's got to walk everywhere. So I don't know how you're going to hold up, my friend.
All right. I am coping with the fact that we are now at the stage of the season where the Atlanta Falcons are going to win too many games to get a good draft pick. That's where we are. Prime example last week. They win a game. Now they're on top of the division. They're probably, if they do win the division, they'll be one and done. And then they'll be picking in the mid-teens. And therefore, we won't be a step closer, rather, to getting the franchise quarterback that this team desperately needs. So we are now at this time. We're going to get these 3-4 W's, probably finish something like 9-8, something along that line. And then they'll be picking in the middle of the pack and won't have a franchise quarterback. So we'll probably be rolling out Desmond Ridder one more year.
The Riddler.
So that we'll have this roller coaster at the quarterback position one more time. So that's my Coke moment for today.
The Riddler.
All right, let's go to Reverend Night Nation, see what they are doping and noping and coping on. I've seen a couple of comments, and we'll go from there. All right. Red is doping on Des Bryant for calling out the phony and fake Malika Andrews, noping on Steve A. Smith, defending Malika Andrews, coping on Monty Williams, coming from coaching the Phoenix Sun championship contender to the perennial lottery. Detroit Pistons. Well, I can't cope with him for him too much, Red. The Joker did get double his salary. He made it worthwhile to take all the bills. So he's winning financially, not winning in the win-loss column on the court. Most that I played with you before between the old gym and Morehouse or run and shoot, Mays High class. All right, Mays High, my brother. All right, man. That's good. Thanks for making the connection, Mo. Red talking about DuckTales got canceled. The VP says Washington beating Oregon. He's doping on that twice. Coach Prime and them Bucks were rooting for you for sure. Red talking about quack got cracked by a pack of wolves, no doubt about it. Mo said Bo Nix will be a career backup. That sounds right. The VP would say. Red Rose said, "Oh, finally got Knicks last night for sure." Vincent Woodruff, the VP, says, "My Niners being the fave going into Philly despite having the worst record. Purdy, time to prove me wrong." For sure. We'll talk more about that game a little later. Red talking about Winston Thorne. Winston not feeling good about the Nike Town loss. Mo said, "Look, I got to cook for my son and himself, but he's listening. All right, man.
Eat some breakfast.
Make sure you pay attention to that breakfast, man. We don't want your son to get a bad breakfast because of us. So do what you got to do, man. That's dope you cooking for your son." Winston said, "Dope, KD reaching 10th overall score, and he's noping on Peppers getting caught on the high mic, coping on his Ducks losing last night and missing out on the playoffs." Quack. All right, Dante going on. "I'm coping with my sports life." Oh, that's what we really should know. Auburn trash, Carolina trash. Trash. I think we can officially call that a dumpster fire right there. At least I have the Braves, so that is a dope. Rev, just say a small
Dante, it's going to be all right.
Dante, in Jesus' name. I got you, man. I got you.
Oh,
thank y'all so much for chiming in. Dante, for real, man, I hope you saw my post on Facebook. I had to really pray for you Auburn fans, man, because the way you all lost that game last week, I mean, how in the world can you lose that game? 4th and goal. But something told me something bad was going to happen when they only rushed 2 people. This man had enough time to go drive to Tuscaloosa and come back to Auburn. And you can't ask defenders to hold up for that long. But also, man, Coach, I couldn't understand how you could be 32 yards away and you can't see that ball flying.
Man, I'd have pushed a wide receiver or something. I'd have pushed him anything.
Like, you got enough time. It wasn't but so far the receiver could go. Because he only got 10 yards and everybody's in the end zone. So where are you afraid getting beat? How in the world you can't see the ball coming 32 yards?
How do you let the guy get behind you? It's bizarre.
In the end zone. Like, you got room to let him get in front of you and beat the ball down as he comes. I mean, it just makes it.
Well, Rev, I can say for the cornerback, his NIL stand for nope, I'm lost. That's all I can say. Because he looked bad, man. That was terrible. That was terrible for you to let a man get behind you in the end zone. Behind you. He ain't got nowhere to go. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a film session the next time?
Well, thankfully, Auburn, I think they're both eligible. So that would have been that's a terrible film session. Like, that's the session that a coach has to be careful saying this is a team loss. It shouldn't come down to that one play. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do that coach speak right there.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What's the name? And the defensive coordinator. What are you doing? You got 8 guys, all them guys in the end zone back there, and you let a guy get open behind all that. I just don't understand that.
And Milroe had already shown that he was uncomfortable. So send 3, send 4 to make him uncomfortable. And plus, he had already shown he had no kind of awareness of where the line of scrimmage is because he had surpassed the
Zero.
line of scrimmage a couple of times to throw the ball,
And,
man. So,
even if he took off running, you got 32 yards to stop him from getting in the end zone. If he had taken off running, he can't beat all y'all.
for sure.
Yeah, that's unexcusable.
Red said his NIL stands for Nimrod, idiot, and loser. The VP said the committee was screaming at the Auburn defense. Red said, me too. All right, man. Let's jump on to these hot topics that we have today. Thanks again, Reverend Knight Nation, for sharing your comments. Since we got a little time, we'll talk about NFL candidates. There's been a lot of talk recently, Coach, especially after what happened on Thursday night. Dak Prescott put up some pretty good numbers against the Seattle Seahawks. Finally, the Cowboys beat a decent team. We won't say that the Seahawks are Super Bowl contenders, but they finally did beat somebody who was not a cellar dweller. So Dak is getting a lot of conversation. There's talk about Jalen Hurts, especially with his team's record, 10-1. Then even, to my surprise, Pat Mahomes is getting some conversation about him being the MVP, even though to me, this has been a lackluster year for him, even though he doesn't have the best wide receivers. Nevertheless, Coach, what are your thoughts about the candidates for NFL MVP? Who would you say is your MVP right about now?
I still got to go with Jalen Hurts because one thing about him, he doesn't care if you take the lead because he know the game is played 4 quarters, not 2 quarters. You can be leading him at halftime. Hurts is just going to look up and say, all right, y'all, we down by 20. We need 21. So here we go. He's going to come back, and he's been doing it all year. That's why they 10-1. Dak Prescott, he's looking good on a lot of people's eyes for the simple fact is that he did that and defense led him against Seattle. That defense was regarded as one of the top 5. They give up 30-some points. That wasn't supposed to happen. Dallas was supposed to have the defense supposed to lock it down, and Dak was just going to play his game and win. But for him to do what he did while the defense was suspect, that got him some MVP votes. And like you said, Pat Mahomes is having, for him, a subpar year. And one person somebody is trying to put in there, but I'm not going to put him in there, and that's Josh Allen. I'm like, oh, my God, why y'all keep trying to bring Josh Allen in it? Josh Allen is a turnover waiting to happen. He's thrown for more touchdowns than anybody in the game. Oh, and he giving it up more than anybody in the game. So, I mean, you can take him out. It's either right now. It's either and I have to give credit. It's like Brock Purdy is doing enough is doing some things. Now the game between San Francisco and Philadelphia, that's going to stretch MVP rate out somebody's direction. Meanwhile, Dak is about to make his MVP case when he runs into this buzzsaw of Philadelphia and all those teams. Those tough teams, if he can come out of those with wins and some decent stats, who knows?
So you're going with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has a great record, team record. I don't know if the team record suggests how great he's been playing because a lot of his numbers have been very pedestrian at best, especially in first halves. And then, he's made key plays, but can we say that he just put a full game together where he's just dominated and the Eagles have won because of him? I think we got to give a lot of credit to their defense holding opposing teams in the second half to give Jalen Hurts those opportunities when the offense hadn't been that great in the first half. Then when I look at someone like Dak Prescott, it's hard for me to really look at him as a true MVP candidate because I saw him get boat raced by the San Francisco 49ers and got outplayed by Brock Purdy, who is somewhat in the MVP conversation. And then he had a horrible game against the Arizona Cardinals, and then he's just been beaten up on Sisters of the Poor to gain his confidence until last week. So I can't really take him seriously. Then I can't look at Patrick Mahomes because his numbers have been very pedestrian, not Mahomes-like numbers. The defense has really been carrying the Kansas City Chiefs this year rather than the offense. So this is why, after looking at Pat already win 2 MVPs, I can't look at this season in comparison to his 2 other MVP seasons as if he's the MVP this year. Then I think we saw who Brock Purdy really was when Debo and Christian McCaffrey were both injured. Debo sat out, and Brock Purdy looked like Mr. Irrelevant in live and in living color when they lost to the Browns and lost to the Vikings, and therefore I can't take him serious. So I say all that to say that I feel Richard Pryor in my spirit. Coach, you know where I'm going with this? I feel Richard Pryor in my spirit. Red is a movie buff, so I might as well bring some entertainment to it. I remember a movie back in the 1980s starring Richard Pryor in the baseball movie called Brewster's Millions.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Was running for some political position, and his whole political campaign was off the mantra, none of the above. That's who I believe the MVP candidates are right now. None of the above. None of the above includes Hurts, Mahomes, Purdy, and Prescott. As Coach would say, we need to stay tuned because this conversation is a continuous conversation because right now, I could not, in good football faith, give anybody the MVP because all of them got some flaws too. So I'm done it.
Yeah. When you went back to Brewster's Millions, it's over. It's over. Brewster's Millions. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So they all got some proving to do. I couldn't see anybody hoisting the MVP trophy right now because they've all had flawed campaigns this year, and they've been very glaring, very glaring. Definitely voted none of the above on these right now. All right, I'm glad I was able to convince Brother Vince on the none of the above. Let's move on, Coach, as we're moving on. The question is David Tepper, the owner, relatively new owner of the Carolina Panthers, over his head? What are your thoughts, Coach?
I have one sentence. Money don't always make you smart. That's all I can say about the tipster. I tell you, he has taken a franchise who was moderate. Not Superman Part 3. Oh my goodness. He has taken a franchise which was decently successful and was winning and playing well and turned it into a joke. A joke. That's all it is. And on a side note, before I keep going,
not to say I need another prayer. Go ahead, Coach. On a side note, the
Carolina and Charlotte ownerships are not good in any sport, I don't think. Basketball, terrible. Well, they got hockey. They did good in hockey. I take that back. But David Tepper is an example of a man. I think I heard you use or somebody else use it. Trust fund, baby. You got all that money. You bought you a team. Thought it was Madden, and decided to play Madden with a football team, and it ain't working now. You are looking like the epic Bozo the Clown. So whether he improves, but the main thing is when he said about, I guess in so many words, they should have took C.J. Stroud, but you didn't. And it's not all Bryce Young. It's not Bryce. Bryce Young has nothing to do with it. You gave up potential stars on to play with him, to get the number 1 pick. So Bryce Young, he's like this old wrestler. What's his wrestler name? Taz. Bryce Young is a victim of circumstance. That's all he is, unfortunately. So
yeah, I would have to agree with you because we have to look at just the past 2 seasons. The skills players that Bryce Young would need to succeed are gone. You know, remember on that roster they had Christian McCaffrey. He's gone to San Francisco. They traded him last year. Then, in order to get the first pick, they included their pick in DJ Moore. That was their top wide receiver. So, you know, Bryce Young is playing with a bunch of B, C, D level skills players, and you're expecting him to work magic during his rookie season. It's just not going to work. David Tepper is clearly one of those billionaires that thinks he can buy everything. And he thinks he could just buy himself a championship, and it doesn't work that way. And he should learn from the failed ownership of the Russian guy who used to own the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. What a joke.
Trade where he got the used car version of Paul Pierce and KG. He thought he was getting the Hall of Fame KG and Paul Pierce, but they had used up all of their Hall of Fame energy in Boston by the time they got to Brooklyn, and they were just role players. And he traded for them, thinking that they, along with Joe Johnson, was going to get the basketball job done. And Tepper is realizing, brother, you're going to have so many former coaches on payroll, it's going to be ridiculous. If I were a former coach, if I were Lovie Smith, I'd be like, hire me next year. Then fire me. So I know I get some income coming because he's about to have his 3rd coach on payroll. You know, y'all already still paying a dude that went to Nebraska. Then he's got to pay Frank Wright. And now he's about to hire somebody else. So, man, I mean, he's definitely in over his head. He needs to realize, let football people make the football moves. You just sign checks. That's the best thing that you can offer the Carolina Panthers. And one of the problems with Carolina as a fan base, and we're talking about Charlotte since Carolina Panthers play in Charlotte, is some of the same thing that Atlanta sports suffer. And that is you don't have a whole bunch of in-town people who are diehard fans. You know, like Atlanta has a better fan base than I would say the Carolina Panthers because Atlanta Falcons has been in Atlanta a lot longer. But we know the city of Atlanta expanded because of transient people. And these transient people came with their own teams. Just like you, Coach, you moved in to Georgia, but not once have I ever heard you say you're an Atlanta Falcons fan. You've always stayed true to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And so many other people have moved into Georgia where they've kept their team that they've been rooting for all of their lives as their main team. And then people just get on the bandwagon if they're doing well. Carolina, they have become a major city, not because of folk who are from Charlotte, but because of the transient community who moved in to Charlotte. And sometimes when you don't have passionate fan bases from the in-town people, this is how franchises can make silly moves because they know there's not a lot of backlash. Like there's no way in the world Arthur Smith should still have his job in Atlanta if the fan base were more passionate. There's no way in the world that Tepper would continue to feel comfortable firing coach after coach if they had a more dedicated fan base. So that's the danger of teams like Carolina and Atlanta. When you don't have a diehard fan base, teams can get away with making stupid moves. That's my little take. Let me get to some of these comments. Red said he's paying more coaches than players. That's for sure. VP says Stroud would be struggling the same way if he was a Panther. Stroud is thanking the deal every day he's not a Panther. I know that's right. Well, we're not sure Bryce is a star yet. Vincent Woodruff, correction, Red Rose Star, college QB. What's up, Tony? Glad to have you on the show. Armani, Lieutenant Sonar. checking in. And I can attest to the Charlotte fans. Most people like myself moved to Charlotte, not from Charlotte. The fans are just okay with being mediocre. I wish another owner down 85 would take this hit as well. Red Rose says, Steelers or Falcons, not even a choice. Tony said, I have loved Atlanta since I was a kid, all the way from Victoria, Canada. I have never switched my team. Please tell us, you loved Atlanta or the Atlanta Falcons? Make that distinction, please. Because I would like to know if you love the Atlanta Falcons all the way from Canada. What in the world enticed you to become a Falcons fan when they have no history of winning a championship all the way in Canada? Please empower me, because I would love to hear this. He did say Arthur Smith needs to get out. I would have loved to see Stroud in Atlanta. We would have to lose more in order to see Stroud. And that's what I'm talking about right now. Oh, you're talking about Atlanta, the city. Okay, I got you. And he says everything in, and the Falcons. God bless you, brother. Okay, he said the DVDs. You must have come up during the hype era with Too Legit to Quit. That's the only way I can see it. A Falcons fan all the way from Canada. You must love Prime. You must love RJ Rison. You must have loved when they used to wear the all black or the black jerseys, and they'd be like, too legit to quit. That was a good era during the Jerry Glanville era. Yeah. Dunn, Vic Duckett. Okay, I don't remember him. He said Tony is a glutton for punishment. Sounds like it. But hey, what's man? Hey, I'm glad to see that Atlanta has some type of international appeal, going all the way to Canada to get its fan base, because surely we need some better fans in Atlanta to put some pressure on management. With that being said, Coach, man, we got to keep this train moving real quickly. We're down to the NCAA picks, and we see both of our other co-hosts are in Reverend Knight Nation on today, so I'm sure they are looking very attentively at what we're about to put up real quickly. And, Coach, your lead, brother, slowly but surely slipping away, Coach. Here we are. You see these standings, Coach?
Not yet. I'm waiting on the pop up.
There they are, Coach.
What in the world? Wait a minute, Armontis. What in?
Yeah, man, Coach, you came up short last week, man. You went with North Carolina over North Carolina State, and that's what burned you. That's what burned you, sir. So now Armontis has gotten another game up on you, and you now find yourself going into championship week 2 games behind Armani. I'm 4 games behind, and Red bringing up the rear 8 games behind.
Armontis.
Any thoughts, Coach?
I don't. Well, I got some games today. We still got the playoffs. I'll try to at least tie young Armani, who's come out of nowhere, finishing last. But then again, he's not on the show, so I don't think I can catch him. Because when he off the show, he picks so well.
He picks up. Yeah, he definitely picks so well. Okay, my bad. Going back to face said Dunn, Vickett, Duckett. Yeah, I remember the running backs and the quarterback. Gotcha, brother Tony. I remember he played at Michigan State, T.J. Duckett. Yeah, I definitely remember. All right, Coach. So let's get on to these picks, man. Let me get some picking music. I'm not even going to ask you if you want to go first, because that's what you choose every week. So we're going to let you go first. All right? Here we go. Let me turn up the volume, and then we can pick. Feel free as we pick, Reverend Knight Nation, to let your picks be made known as we pick these games. Looking at these conference championship games. So let's get ready. Let's get at it real quickly. In 4, 3, 2, 1, Coach, SMU versus Tulane. Who you got, Coach?
I go with Tulane. They seem to be riding a hot wave, and of course they're 11-1. And I dare anybody from Tulane, if you out there, to talk about we deserve to be in the top 10. No, you don't. Just be happy with your 11-1 and beat the former Pony Express, SMU. I'll go with Tulane.
So in this particular conference championship, they don't play typically at a neutral site, if I'm correct. So therefore, this American Athletic Championship game is going to be played in New Orleans, where Tulane is. So Tulane is a 3-point favorite. I have not seen SMU nor Tulane play. So therefore, I am not about to go on a limb and run the risk of getting farther back in the standings. So I'm going to go with Tulane, as Dana got Tulane, Red got Tulane, Winston, Tulane, and Mo have Tulane. So Tulane is unanimous. On to the next game is on me. Oklahoma State versus Texas. I'm not a big fan of the mullet guy who's the head coach of Oklahoma State. Also, I'm not a big fan of Steve Sarkisian, especially the way he used to be the offensive coordinator with the Atlanta Falcons. Texas, they do have one loss to their rival, Oklahoma. Oklahoma State has 2 or 3 bad losses. I think one of those bad losses came to Central Florida, and another bad loss came to another team that was not a Power 5. I'm going to go with Texas to win this, even though I wanted to move towards Oklahoma State, but I think Texas will get the victory. Who you got, Coach?
Yeah, I'm like you. I don't want Texas to win nothing but runner-up in every conference they've been in. I don't want them to win nothing. But Oklahoma State, they got the number 1 rusher, I believe, in the country. But I don't think they're going to be able to do it on Texas. Quinn Ewers has decided to maybe come back another year, so he's going to put his stamp on, try to make a good game. I'm going to go with Texas, unfortunately, because I don't think Oklahoma State got enough defense to stop Texas.
All right, Red going with Texas and Desart. Verdana, Texas. Mo, Texas. Winston, Texas. Texas is unanimous. On to the next ACC Conference Championship. We got Louisville versus Florida State without their premier quarterback. Who you got, Coach?
Louisville messed everything up last week when they lost to Kentucky. This would have been a bigger game, but Louisville decided to go out there and wet the bed against Kentucky. Florida State going to have to put a, what they call it, a Magic City 40 wing dinner up on Louisville to make committee see that they still for real despite losing possibly 2 quarterbacks. So they're going to have to put a 40 spot or more on Louisville. I'm going Florida State still. They got too many weapons on the skill position. And my boy from Mississippi, Trey Benson, is running back. Greenville.
I think that's the reason why you go with Florida State, because you love for Mississippi.
Greenville, my hometown.
All right, I'm going to go with Louisville because I need to try to get a game somewhere to try to get up the ranks. Plus, Louisville played tough this year. They came up short against Kentucky, lost another one. But I think Louisville has enough firepower to at least be a second or third string quarterback. So I'm going to go with Louisville in the upset against Florida State. All right, let's see what Reverend Knight Nation has to say when it comes to picks. Mo wanted to let us know Oklahoma State has no defense. Red said Louisville with the upset. Vincent said the committee is rooting for the Cards. They sure are. Winston said Louisville with the upset.
Wow, a lot of Louisville.
Said FSU. Mo Gamble said Louisville has nothing to lose. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Michigan versus Iowa.
Oh, God.
In the Big Ten Championship. I just couldn't understand, man, why they keep having all the subpar teams on one side of the Big Ten bracket. And then you put your 3 best teams year after year on the same side with Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. It just makes absolutely no sense. I know it's probably geographical, but you got to change that up a little bit because
it's going to change next year.
Well, it got to change in where you got USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon coming in. That's a huge change. So I hope that they put most of those teams on the other side, if they still do the double bracket thing. Yeah. But nevertheless, it's on me. If Michigan beat Ohio State without their coach, surely with the coach coming back with more talent, Iowa's typically a physical team, but I think Michigan probably will out-physical Iowa. So I'm going to have to go with Michigan. Coach, who you got?
Yeah. Iowa has the best defense in the country or in the top 5, but too much skill position over in Michigan. And Michigan, just like I said, is going to bully them. They're going to bully Iowa and beat them. They're going to run them in the chest, hit them in the mouth, and say, "What you going to do?" So I'm going with Michigan.
All right, so Brother Dana got Michigan. Red says Michigan, unfortunately. Mo said terrible alignment for sure. Winston says Michigan and landslide. Brother Dana says Michigan again. All right. Mo says Michigan. On to the game that everybody's looking at because it said that this will be the game to know how things will turn out with the Final Four. So it's Georgia versus Alabama. Coach, I'm really interested in seeing your take on this game. Who you got?
Whoever has the ball last wins the game. So many words. Whoever has the ball last going to win. I think it's going to be a physical shootout, but Jalen Milroe can't do one thing. He can't try to be the game and try to just take over and try to do it by himself. If he does that, his chances are already slim. If he tries to do that instead of just playing within the game, he doesn't have any chance because they're going to keep on him. Kirby has already got somebody to say, hey, if Milroe goes eat a hot dog, you put ketchup on it. So you're going to stay with him the whole game. So Milroe not going to be by himself the whole game because Kirby Smart is going to spy him no matter what he does. So whoever had the ball last, and I think Georgia is hearing the rumors about somebody actually said they may not make it if they lose. So they're going to go out there with a mindset of, well, we can't lose because we don't want to leave it in the hands of the committee to not put them in case they got other undefeated teams. So it's going to be, I give Georgia 30-27, something like that. It's going to be close.
Coach is going with Georgia to my surprise.
Well, I just don't think Alabama. I think this the year they got enough skill people. And the running game is starting to improve, but I think Milroe mindset might be, especially if he gets behind, to try to do it all himself, and that's going to cost. But now Georgia can't do with this Alabama team what they've been doing with everybody else, fall behind early. But I don't think Alabama is that kind of team you can get behind early.
You made some good points. I'm definitely going with Georgia. I think the key to Alabama beating Georgia is in the past, they've always had pinpoint accurate passes that have beaten Georgia. You know, you look at when Tua came in the second half of that national championship game that Alabama came back to beat Georgia, it was not because of a run, it was because of a pinpoint pass in Tua. If you look at when Alabama beat Georgia, the last team to beat Georgia 2 years ago, it's because of Bryce Young being a pinpoint passer, not because of his running skills. I think Georgia showed when Jalen Hurts was the quarterback in that championship game the first half, they can shut down a run, more than they can shut down a pinpoint passer. So this is why I feel real good about Georgia's chances today, because Milroe is more of a runner than he is a passer, even though he can throw the deep ball. So I think Georgia will have a defense not to completely stop Milroe from running, but to mitigate him from going wild with the running. And I put my trust in Georgia's secondary to be good enough to be able to defend Alabama's receivers. And remember, when Alabama beat Georgia, they had great receivers. And right now, Alabama doesn't have that Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith. They don't have the what was that guy named Williams guy from that plays for the Detroit Lions now, who got hurt in the national championship game. So as long as Alabama doesn't have that guy that can just take the top off the defense, I think Georgia's in good shape. So I think Georgia will be one of the four once they win the SEC championship. All right, let's see. Here we got Mo Gamble, got Alabama, but went to high school in Georgia. Who does that? No. Red says, Coach pick Alabama, can't pick Georgia. Red, we know where you stay in UGL all day. Winston Thornton, I think, is trying to throw shade at Red because the Ducks got quack yesterday. Alabama was upset. Georgia can't defend Milroe. I don't know about that. They had a harder time defending Bryce Young than they will Milroe. The VP says this is going to be the game of the year, period. The committee's final decision will come from this game, and he says, roll tide. Brother Dana said Georgia. Jerome said Bama will put the dogs on a TI, you want to say in a TI chokehold, I think. All right, in a TI chokehold. The VP said we're about to see what UGA is made of. Milroe, man, you got your inner Jerome Case working today with this misspelling, Mr. VP.
Milroy.
I don't know you talking about Milroy or Elroy from the Jetsons. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, VP. You shot.
Are you tailgating somewhere, eating at the same time?
Yeah, man. You gotta stop drinking that face juice, man. Come on back, Mr. VP. What's up, brother Horace? Glad to have you, bro. I was watching your show the other day when you had Maceo on, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Check out Brother Horace. Horace, put your name of the show in the chat if you don't mind, because we need people to watch you, man. Y'all got a good show going on. The VP says Milroe's game determines this game like Tupac. All eyes on him. I can live with that. Mo says only reason Bama lost that game was injuries. That could be a good argument, but they lost. And injuries are part of the game. All right. Mo said I was born in Montgomery. Okay. So you knew very early on if you were born in Montgomery, you had to choose between Auburn and Alabama, but you live closer to Auburn than you did Alabama. What's up with that, Mo? They didn't get that Alabama War Eagle in you when you were younger? Come on, bro. He said, I'm using Jerome J. Case-Poe. Yeah, he is. Yeah, man, Brother Horace. Yeah, Sports Roundtable. I didn't want to miss it. Man, great show. Had a chance to watch you and Maceo on the other day, man. Great stuff, man. Tune in to Sports Roundtable. Check them out, YouTube. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. It's good, man. All these folks doing podcasts and shows, showing each other love. We appreciate you tuning in, Horace. And you got a fan in me with the Sports Roundtable. Red Rose says, who is Milroy? Is he related to Leroy?
Last Dragon. Yeah, man. Now, Rev, there's a person's name that's going to be called, and if his name is called a lot, then it's a lot. Dylan Bell. We'll see how he do. Because I think Brock Bowers is going to be shadowed too. They're going to double him up, and then if Dylan Bell can open that thing up, then Alabama be in trouble. But if Alabama want to make one, if they can do it or not, well, we'll see. But it's going to be a good one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I think it's going to be a slugfest.
Let me get a little bit reverentish on the show since I am a true rebel. The Bible says, and we know all things work together for good to them that love the Lord and called according to his purpose. And I have a sermon whenever something goes bad in life. When I lean on Romans 8:28, that's where that scripture comes from. I have a sermon entitled, Please Show Me the Good. How does this relate to what we're talking about between Georgia and Alabama? Well, there was a lot of good that happened for Georgia when Brock Bowers went down. For those 3 weeks that he went down, that helped Carson Beck be able to develop a relationship with other receivers and not be so tunnel vision to lock in on Brock Bowers. And now he's spreading the sugar around, the football around, which has made Georgia a tough team and also made Georgia a team to be able to continue to do quite well despite not having its best weapons. So I think today is going to be more evidence of the blessing that was in disguise in Brock Bowers' injury, because Carson Beck knows that he has other receivers, even if Lad McConkey can't play, even if Ra Thomas can't play. He got other guys that he can get the ball to, all because of that injury to Brock Bowers, which forced him to be able to look at other people on the field. And I think Georgia will benefit from the Brock Bowers injury on today, because if you got receivers down, if you got even a tight end down, Beck has been conditioned to be able to feed all his receivers. That's all I got. I agree. Brother Hart says, Case says Prince has when doves cry, red and red will have when dogs cry.
Yeah.
Mo said, no, my cousin went to Bama. Okay, I got you. And he said, my big homie, bro, Mays alum, Stacey Harrison played at Bama. All right, got you, man. Got you. Appreciate you sharing your Alabama connection. All right, Coach, man, it's about that time that we do this HBC report. It's going to be very short, but let's get into it with the HBC report. Are you ready? You locked and ready?
Yes, sir. Whenever you're ready,
all right,
sir.
Man, let me crank up the HBCU music as we get ready to do this HBCU report. In 3, 2, 1, let's do it. Let's go, Coach.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, for the HBCU report, brought to you by Reynolds Wrap Aluminum Fall. Here we go, the SWAC Championship game for today. Against Florida A&M. FAMU. Prairie View is being very disrespected in this game, so they're ready to come back and say, hey, you're not going to take this. Y'all already putting Florida A&M in the Celebration Bowl. We got something to say. So that's going to be a good one. And congratulations to Howard University, who stunned North Carolina Central, who was winning all year. But Howard came in and beat them and end up winning the MEAC championship. And they will play the winner of the SWAC championship in the Celebration Bowl here in Atlanta. So congratulations to Howard University. That's your HBCU report for Saturday, December 2nd.
Thank you, sir, Coach.
Yes,
That's probably the shortest HBCU report in Red and Red Sports Show history. But we do want to show some love to our HBCUs for sure. Says my Benedict Tigers went down last week. Great season, young man. They did play well. Did Morehouse ever win a game? They did. While you trying to clown, bro. They won the AUC Classic. They beat Clark.
They did.
And at the end of that game, Morehouse's coach's reward was getting fired for winning the AUC Classic. So they did win one game. They did beat Clark Atlanta. And Clark Atlanta just hired a new coach as well.
Yeah.
Like Clark and Morehouse are battling who can hire the most coaches. Because a lot of winning going on with those football programs. Yeah, Clark is a team. We'll take it. Don't we try to hate. We'll take one. We didn't leave out this season with the donut special. Come on now. Back up off us, bro. I was liking you earlier because we got that Mays High connection, but you coming from a school, man. Yeah, Clark was awful as well, but we won the awful championship. I'll take it. All right, gentlemen. We have reached halftime of the Red and Red Sports Show. We hope that everybody has enjoyed the two-man crew so far. We're glad that Monty and Red have joined us at periods of time at different periods of time during this show. We represent we got NFL talk, we got a little basketball talk, so we got a little baseball talk in the second half of the Red and Red Sports Show. So tune in for the second half. We'll be right back. And we are back on the Red and Rev Sports Show. Thank y'all for tuning in. Feel free to hit that share button, let somebody know what you're watching on today. And who knows, your share might be the share to bring somebody to be a part of the Red and Rev Sports Show, also become part of Revanite Nation. It is my Red and Rev Sports Show pleasure to be on set with Coach Patrick Thomas, the coach who wants all the chaos but didn't vote for chaos in his picks. I wonder why.
I got to catch Armani. He's somewhere.
I was waiting to see some chaos in your picks, but I saw absolutely no chaos in your picks. So you clearly came to pick today with a sober mind and not a chaotic one.
Wait a minute, Ram. We discuss this after the show, sir. No, I'm just playing. No, I was listening to the guy that was talking about the head of the committee, and he was sitting on there talking about he's had many a sleepless night, and I was like, just all the week I've been listening to the scenarios. So I said, okay, what are you gonna do if the scenarios happen? He never addressed it. I was waiting on him to address it, and he never addressed it. He just said, we're just going to watch the games and see how everything goes. But I know it'll be complete and utter ridiculousness if Iowa beat Michigan, Alabama beat Georgia, and what's the name? Who the other game?
FSU loses to Louisville.
FSU loses to Louisville. It was Washington said they wasn't having it. Washington said we gonna take care of business right off. And another fact, Rev, Dylan Johnson, the running back for Washington, Greenville, Mississippi, baby. Another one.
Yeah, he ran that ball real well, man. Definitely ran that ball, man. Washington showed up, and they had a chip on their shoulder because I thought it was kind of disrespectful how they were like a 9-point dog in that game, underdog in that game. Like, what in the world? Red says, Coach, you were scared. Say you scared, Coach. We need some chaos on the show without me there. Come to the dark.
Hey, what I finna say? What were you just talking about?
I was talking about chaos and picks, and we were talking about the games that would determine the chaos.
Oh yeah, but it was something else that was on my mind. I forgot it just that fast, but it was the guy was looking at all the scenario, and that's all they've been talking about. They stole my words because I've been hearing chaos. They're talking about it today. Did a half of a show talking about chaos, but that would be interesting though. I just like to see next year it won't be any chaos because you got 12 teams, but then you'll have chaos because number 13 through 15 will be like we should be there.
We should be, yeah, you can always have chaos, but at least it will be from teams that are just trying to get in, not really compete for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest difference between this 4 and 12. Because each year you probably have at least 4 to 6 teams tops that can really compete for the championship. The rest of these games, when you go into 12, you're just making more money for your school.
Well, Liberty doesn't have a case?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
12 and 0, baby. 12 and 0. You reward the teams for beating. You reward the teams for winning. And they won all their games.
Yeah. Mo said it should have been 8 teams. I think money rules college sports and sports in general, so that's why you got 12 teams. So, you got those 8 teams. You'll have 4 teams who'll get buys, and then you'll have 8 teams competing in the first round. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But nevertheless, let's move on, man. We got 5 for 5. So I don't know if the VP is still around. I hadn't seen him. Well, he has been around, so I know he would say Q Lunit. So I hear you in the back of my mind, Mr. VP, and not Q Lunits. So we got 5 topics right here. We're going to give each topic 5 minutes. Coach, you'll get a minute. I'm not going to use a minute, but I'll join you in the conversation as well. And Reverend Knight Nation, feel free to put whatever comments that you have dealing with the topic at hand, and we'll read your comments after we are finished with our commentary. All right, Coach, you're on the clock. Here we go. First topic at hand is Angel Reese returns to the LSU's win on Thursday. 3, 2, 1, got it.
Well, I see all of the problems of the world got solved when you get ready to play Virginia Tech. Number 9 team in the country. Everybody's happy. Angel's happy. Kim happy. Kim did her mea culpa all the time. When they asked her the question about Angel, she said you're going to get the same answer every time. So stop asking me that question. So you don't need to ask. You're going to know you're going to get the same answer. Reese returned, 19 points, 10 rebounds. It's like she never left and you look good. So I guess all is well in Lady Tigerland.
All right. Angel Reese came back with strong showing the other night. They looked all right. LSU looked all right. Didn't think they would have much trouble with Tech. Maybe SEC may have given the call because they wanted that SEC win over the ACC teams with the SEC-ACC challenge. But it's good to see Reese on the court. I hope to see her more on the court. I hope she spends more time in the books than she does on social media, even though she's getting paid a lot of money right now to be on social media. And I think Angel Reese is a good litmus test on showing how there could be a real big downfall of giving college kids a lot of money, even though they're very deserving of it. But everybody can handle it, because I know if I see her on one more IG post, just at the camera, blinking her face, fake eyebrows, eyelashes rather, it's just going to drive me crazy. But I hope she does well on the court, and glad to see her back on the court. Let's see if Reverend Knight Nation has anything to say about one Angel Reese. Going back, Horace said the committee wished the 12 teams started. Yeah, they sure did, for sure. Red Rose says Angel returned without the weed. Mo said she was humble, she needed it. Red said Angel has no hair. I didn't know we were going into a hair show today. Okay. The VP said Angel may have gotten an attitude adjustment. I highly doubt it. LSU will be an average team this year. AR needs to work on her game if she wants basketball in the future. I would agree, because her game does not look WNBA ready to me because she'll be like the size of a 3, trying to play the 4 and the 5 in the WNBA, and she's not quick enough to guard the 3. She's not big enough, strong enough to compete with those 4s and 5s. So good luck to her. You remember that guy, Coach, that played for Kansas? He was like a tweener. I think he got drafted by the Sacramento Kings. 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, shoot.
I can't remember his name. But anyway, that's who Angel Reese reminds me of, like a tweener who will get drafted high, but I don't think that she'll have a flourishing WNBA career. We'll see. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next topic. It's on me. Are the Broncos back? Well, I would say as of right now, it looks like they have a formula for being back. Sean Payton has showed us he has not lost his ability how to coach, for he was a phenomenal coach, Super Bowl winning coach in New Orleans. He started out slow, but now it looks like he's found his rhythm and his pace with the Denver Broncos after getting blasted by the Miami Dolphins where they put their 70 spot on them. So Sean Payton, showing the good coach that he is, he's been able to rally the troops, got them together, helped them stay in their lane, help Russ know that you're not going to cook. You're only going to cook on certain downs, and we're going to rely on this running game to carry much of the load. And where we need you to step in, that's when you'll step in. So I think what Denver's doing is sustainable long term, even though I don't see them ever taking the Kansas City Chiefs while Mahomes is still on the QB throne. Coach?
Well, you look at what they're doing, and I guess the Cats are catching fire at the right time because we're getting close to the home stretch. We're in the double-digit games now, so if the Broncos, will they make the playoffs? They're putting themselves in a good position to sneak into that 6 or 7 spot. And can it sustain? We'll see. But right now, it's hard to argue with what Sean Payton and Russell Wilson have done. They must have had a meeting in Russell Wilson's former office, I guess, and they hashed it out and decided, hey, we're going to do this thing so that they're right now, and their defense is playing. So, hey, they got to be scared of the Broncos right now.
All right, let's see what Revenite Nation might have to say. And we'll see if Russ's twin brother is available. Wow. Red says Sean Payton is back. Broncos defense is back. Now, it wasn't Harry Giles, Red. It was somebody else. I think he was left-handed. It wasn't Harry Giles. Harry Giles went to Duke anyway. McLaren Harris said folks need to apologize to Payton. Seems like he's in need of an apology because he has definitely not lost his ability to coach. Jerome K says Russ is back. The jury's still out on that. He said the Broncos are gaining traction at the right time. Sure they are. And Red said they had a meeting of the minds. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Bill Belichick. Next move. Coach, what says you?
The bloom is clearly off the rose. He doesn't. I mean, you don't have much of a choice between. They asked Belichick, who's going to be your quarterback? You'll find out Sunday. So clearly he's getting a little snippy right about now. He's getting a little angry with reporters and everything because when you got to choose from the Zapster, Bailey Zappi, and Mac Jones, your prospects are not looking too good. And this could be a year that they only win maybe 4 games, 3 or 4 games this year. Very un-Belichick-like. So I think he's done after this year. I think he's going to either shut it down with New England or go to another team.
Oh, Coach, I'm running with you on this one. I think Belichick, he had his time in the sun. Arguably one of the greatest coaches ever to ever do it in the NFL. He has the Super Bowls to back it. The greatness is being somewhat questioned because he's won nothing, absolutely nothing, as Coach John Otis would say from Mays High School, without Tom Brady. So some of that shine is starting to come off him as being one of the greatest coach, if not the greatest coach ever. Some people saying it's probably because of Tom Brady, but nevertheless, I think, as Coach was saying, I'm going to say it in a more figurative way, as Ray Charles had Georgia on his mind, Bill Belichick has to have retirement on his mind, because I don't necessarily see any other teams who would want Bill Belichick to come in, because he's not like a Jim Harbaugh who can infuse change just because of his energy. Bill Belichick, I think, has to have the right pieces in place in order for change to come into fruition. And because he doesn't have the greatest personality and he rubs people the wrong way, I don't know how fit he will be in another frame. All right, let's move on. Let's see what Reverend Knight Nation has to say about one Bill Belichick. Let's say Bill should go to the Chargers. You think Justin Herbert wants Bill Belichick to come to the Chargers? You think he has the mental capacity to be able to deal with somebody like Belichick? Bill has lost his cheat sheet. He's done. Somebody could argue that. Somebody could argue. Stay away from the Bucs and Panthers, Bill. I actually wouldn't mind him going and ruin those franchises, in my opinion. Mark once Gruden back. Let's see. Retirement, sit down before your legacy gets bad. You on the same page with me and Coach. Red says Belichick wants the coaching wins record. That's a good motivation to stay. The question is, will the New England owner keep him around for him to accomplish that, or will some other team give him that opportunity? That seems to not be determined yet. All right, on to the next one. The question is, Sacramento Kings are the new Warriors. That's a question, not a statement. So let me give you my feedback on that. The Sacramento Kings have come from a mighty, mighty long NBA way. Mike Brown has done a phenomenal job with this franchise. He's put De'Aaron Fox on the mat. The bonus is out there. They have a great team, NBA team, but let's slow down. Let's pump the brakes on the Sacramento Kings being the new Warriors, because that suggests that they are championship caliber. And even though they are exciting, even though they're putting some W's, there is nothing about the Sacramento Kings that screams future NBA champions, because when you say Warriors, you say 3-4-time champions and Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and I don't see Sacramento having that formula. Will they be competitive? Yes. Are they championship contenders? In my opinion, absolutely not. Coach, what says you on this topic?
Well, I mean, they consider themselves the new Warriors because the old Warriors are just that, old. They traded away a couple of key pieces, I guess, and the guys that are playing now, Klay Thompson is having a career worst year. Draymond Green can't stay out his own way, and Steph is just Steph. So what else? Yeah, and there's internal reports that they are really down, and people are down on Wiggins because they say he's not playing his games because he's not in shape. He's just out there running up and down the court. So there's a lot of stuff going on to make the old Warriors look old. Sacramento can be, but we'll see how the season goes if they can get over the hump and win some playoff games.
All right, let's see what Reverend Knight Nation has to say. Red said Wiggins is a waste. Winston says D. Fox leading the league in four-court scoring. Kings are not the Kings of old. They'll be legitimate contenders within the next 2 years. Let me pose a question to you, Winston. What's going to make them a legitimate contender in 2 years? Are you saying that the team that they currently have will compete for a championship in 2 years, or will they need to add a piece or two? Because in my humble basketball opinion, which I think is a very good opinion, I don't see championship contenders with this current roster. They have some good pieces. They got some good shooters, but I don't see championship contenders on this current roster. All right. VP says, dream on. Horace says, let's appreciate the Kings not awful any longer, not championship worthy. I agree with that statement. I can definitely appreciate that the Kings are no longer the jokes of the league. They are formidable opponents. They have created a good rivalry with the Golden State Warriors in the regular season, and they did make the postseason. So I guess we just say rival. But they're, as Harris said, they definitely not championship worthy. Rev said they might have to add a piece. I would agree with that. And VP said Mike Brown is doing great. Always root for these brothers. If he can pull it off, then we need to recognize his greatness. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And that would be like a great move if he can win, or great coaching job if he can win a championship with this current group. It's almost like the championship that Larry Brown won with the Detroit Pistons when they beat Reds Lakers with Kobe and Shaq when they were trying to four-peat, when they added Gary Payton and Karl Malone. That would be, I think, on the same level of coaching job if Mike Brown could win a championship with this current group. Winston says they need more defense. Some moves will have to be made, but the foundation's there for what they want to be in the end. We can agree. Red says he's closing his ears. Without Kobe and Shaq losing to the Detroit Pistons. I understand. All right, on to the last topic, 5 for 5. Coaches on you. Braves pitching options. The winter meetings will take place this week. I think it's begun already. So, Coach, what do you think, man? What are the Braves pitching options right about now?
They're running out of options, kind of, sort of. I mean, there's still some good pitchers out there. They're looking at the young man Cease, I believe his name, from the White Sox. But there's a kid out there who, if they could push hard for him, I don't know if he's going to leave his team, but Jordan Montgomery would be a good piece to add to the Braves. And they keep talking about this young Japanese pitcher. I have a wait-and-see attitude on that, but they better strike quick or else they're going to come into the season with Strider, Freeze, and Uncle Charlie, who's 40 years old but keeps getting a contract. But, hey, Charlie eats up innings, so you got to add another pitcher. I see they keep adding relief pitchers, but they need one frontline starter to come in and give them 6 or 7 innings a game to help them out.
Coach, I think you made a good assessment. All signs look like they're going to try to make this trade with the Chicago White Sox for the pitcher you mentioned, Dylan Cease. They could still be in the Blake Snell sweepstakes. There are reports that Blake Snell would like to play for his hometown team, the Seattle Mariners, but doesn't look like the Mariners are willing to pony up the money to get one Blake Snell. I think the pitching market free agency-wise is all centered around this Japanese young guy who people are trying to bid on, and that bidding may not end until January. And the Braves can't afford to be waiting around to see who's available then. So I think they're going to try to make this trade work with the Chicago White Sox to bring Dylan Cease. Hopefully he can be that 4th or 5th starter that the Braves need because obviously they have gone down the past 2 years because of pitching, and the Phillies have beaten them. And the Phillies, once again, have a step above them to start pitching because they were able to keep Aaron Nola, who the Braves actually inquired about. But hopefully they'll get Dylan Cease. If not, AA, I have faith in you that you're going to make some type of trade happen between now and the trade deadline because you know you cannot go into next season with this current pitching staff. Bryce Elder, find him another team. Let somebody else give you a prospect for this kid to be on their rotation. He is not a postseason pitcher.
No.
Teams have caught up with him. That baseball ship has sailed. You heard it from me. All right, I'm good. Hey, man, I normally don't do 5 for 5, but I kind of like it. I might have to let somebody else be the moderator. I like it, man. I might have to let somebody else be the moderator. All right, here we go. Let's see. Red says Blake Snell. And man, Red keeps on this Ohtani, man. That's a pipe dream. Listen. Ohtani's not coming to the Braves. I'm convinced. Plus, what we need Ohtani to do, he's not able to do it until 2025, if then. We need him to be pitching right now. Red said he'll take Dylan Cease. Horace says, I like Ed Rodriguez here, reports of them trading for Luis Roberts to play left field. Okay, that might be a good move. Bray, stop being cheap. Well, that's how they operate. What about Tommy Pham in left field? I'm good with that. I'd rather keep Eddie Rosario if it came to that. Red said, I agree, Rev. Get rid of Elder who pitches like that. He sure did in that second half. All right, man, that is 5 for 5. We had 5 on it. Thank y'all for chiming in with our 5 for 5 component. We're going to move on to the next phase of the Red and Red Sports Show, and that is NFL picks. I'm sure Coach is going to smile a little bit once he sees these standings where he is, because he's still comfortably in the lead. I'm a little mad that Josh Allen and the crew couldn't get the job done in Philadelphia because I was about to get a game on Coach. I was about to get a game on him. And Josh Allen choked. They had the Eagles beat. They had them beat. And they choked. And that's what cost me a game this past week. All right, Coach, smile a little bit. You look better in the NFL than you do in NCAA. Coach is comfortably in first place right now by 5 games. We still got about 4 more weeks plus 3 more weeks of playoff football, so don't gloat too much. But you had the best week last week, 8-1. The Browns were the only team that let you down last week.
Oh, Lord, I'm the one that picked them too.
They're called the Jaguars. You were the only one that got the Jaguars. We were all on the Texans bandwagon, but you called it, so you were comfortably ahead 5 games in the pick'em. So let's see what we got going on this week. Reverend Night Nation, y'all can feel free to pick along with us in our picks for this week. We're picking just a certain amount of games, those games that we feel that are meaningful and that are not definite on who's going to win the game. So that's how we choose what we pick around here. All right. Thanks, Horace, for the update on the Big 12 championship. Texas up 7-0. No surprise right now. Buffalo done McDermott. Going to get fired. Man, you got Jerome Case's phone too, man. Sound like Reg trying to audition for The Color Purple. Gonna get fired. Time just flying at work listening to your show. Glad you listening and tuning in and still have a job. There must be a God somewhere. All right, Red. Let's see what Red talking about, man. All right, man. Let's get into these picks. Here we go. Coach, let me get you some pick'em music. And then Reverend Nation, feel free. Let your picks be made known. You ready, Coach?
Whenever you ready, sir.
Colts versus the Titans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the first installment of the AT&T game, friends and family only. Who cares? I'm going to go with the Titans to sneak an upset because the coach of which Jonathan Taylor's out again. So I say the Titans might try to pull out a victory just to pull the coach back down. So I'm going to go with Titans.
Yeah. This is a tough one, man. Indianapolis is a 1-point favorite, but this game is in Nashville. Then you got Tannehill, who's coming back. You got Minshew, as you call him, who's still a starting quarterback with the Colts. I don't feel strong enough to go with the Colts with Minshew as quarterback without Jonathan Taylor as running back. And what I do know, the Titans have is Derrick Henry. So I think their running game will be okay. So I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm going with the Titans as well. All right. Horace got the Colts, man. He's going out there with Coach Red's going with the Colts. Anthony House said we back. All right. Glad to have you, bro. Let's say Winston Titans. And yeah, Uncle's gone another week. All right, Titans. All right, on to the next one. It's on me. Lions versus the Saints. The Lions definitely need this W after a terrible loss on Thanksgiving Day. They did not have a lot to be football thankful for after that debacle against the Packers. So I think even on the road with the New Orleans team that is reeling a bit, I'm going to have to go with the Detroit Lions. I think Jared Goff will get his football game together, get the troops back to where they need to be to get a very important victory for the Detroit Lions. So I see the Lions going into Nova taking care of the Saints. Who you got, Coach?
I mean, which Lions team gonna show up? You don't know which one of them gonna show up. The Saints are who they are. They're still trying to drive that used car. And won't let Jameis come in and lick his hands and lead them to victory. So I go with the Lions.
Our coach got the Lions. Alexis Hill going to the Lions. Horace got the Lions. Alexis got the Lions. Winston with the Lions. Red. Lions definitely going to keep them stinking. And I know he got extra incentive, especially as a huge Falcons fan. On to the next one, the Browns versus the Rams. This game is in Los Angeles, Coach. The Browns are still competing with a backup quarterback. The Rams looked pretty good last week as they won their game. So who you got, Coach?
The Browns quarterback is Joe Flacco. That's all I need to say. Rams.
All right, I'm going to Rams as well. And Flacco, I do not trust. And I think the Rams definitely had a good plan last week. They had their little running back who had been on IR, who came back and balled out last week. What's his name? Kyren Williams. He definitely did me well in fantasy football. Matter of fact, Coach, you see it in our league. You see the Rev creeping back up there. You see that, Coach?
Yeah, I forgot to talk to you about that. I see quietly you done moved into the top 5 or 6. I said, oh, here we go.
You see, I was down. But you do know the scripture says the last shall be first, so I'm coming. I don't think I'll get first in the regular season, but I may be able to make a little run. I may make a little run in the fantasy football playoffs. Who knows? But yeah, we're both going with the Rams. No diggity, no doubt. Let's see. Winston going with the Browns. Alexis Hill going with the Browns. Did we miss the memo? Horace says Rams. Joe hadn't played in 3 years for sure. Red Rose said Browns defense gonna feast on Matt Stank for them Rams. Red, please make sure this overtime is working for you because we need you to have your money right for our steak dinner. Because with these picks, brother, it's continuously like Humpty Dumpty for you. You having a great fall. Keep on, man. Keep on. We need that steak dinner. The VP says the turds. The turds. Horace says Texas, 14-zip. Texas acting like they want to go to the college playoff. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for the update, Horace. On to the next one. Broncos versus Texas, man. This is a tough one. This is a tough one, man. Texas lost against the Jaguars last week. Broncos are still on a high. Woo! And this is the toughest game, I think, to pick this week. Let me just check out one thing real quick. C.J. Stroud, Russell Wilson. Man. Broncos on the high. Broncos have had some good victories. I'm going to go with the Broncos, man. I'm going to go with the veteran coach to win this one. DeMarco Ryan has done a phenomenal job with the Texans, but I think Sean Payton is in his football coaching bag right now, and I think he's going to be able to coach the Broncos to a victory over the Texans. Experience over enthusiasm. I'm going with the Broncos. Who you got, Coach?
Excuse me.
Bless you, Minshew.
I think C.J. Stroud is going to come to play, but that Broncos defense is getting us hitting the stride. So stay tuned. I'm gonna go with the Broncos and stay hot.
All right, Coach. Coach didn't want to make that mistake he did last week by going with another team over the Broncos. Red has made a great observation. Y'all been eating off me for 2 years now. We enjoy it. We'll keep on. Appreciate you. Red needs to cash in his shares of UPS stocks. Thank goodness. Winston got the Broncos. Red got the Broncos. VP says the Texans in a close one. Alexis Hill got the Texans. All right. On to the next game. Coach is on you. Falcons versus the Jets.
The Aaron Rodgers saga continues. Will he or won't he? Should he or shouldn't he? I just think that Jets, I don't care who they put on the quarterback, they don't trust Brees Hall enough to run him, and they probably won't be able to run, so I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Yeah, this game has Falcons written all over it. The Falcons have a decent run defense, so that's going to mitigate what the Jets can do best right now, which is run the ball. They have a good enough offense to be able to score a few points, even though the Jets' defense is very formidable, arguably one of the better defenses in the league. But I think the Falcons have enough offensive power and enough defense to play better on both sides of the ball to go on the road and win this game against the New York Jets. So we'll see. All right. Horace got the Texans at home from the last pick. Alexis Hill got the Falcons. Anybody else picking? Anybody else picking before we go on to the next game? We got Falcons or the Jets. Red says Falcons, hopefully, but Arthur Stiff coaching. Red, we need to pray. Everybody want me to sports pray. Lord have mercy. Winston Thornton said the Falcons would score 20-13. Horace says taking the under 36 vote. And the VP says the Falcons. On to the next game. This one is on me. The Chiefs versus the Packers. This is just what the doctor ordered for the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs defense is going to love sacking some love. And I think the Chiefs will get themselves together because this is a must win for them if they are going to be first place in the AFC. Baltimore is off this weekend, so if the Chiefs win, they assume first place in the AFC. So I think that's enough incentive for the Chiefs to win, even if Taylor Swift doesn't make it to Green Bay, and we probably won't see her in Wisconsin on a cold, chilly day. That does not seem like Taylor Swift-ish being in a cold environment. So I think we're going to go with the Chiefs. Take care of the Green Bay Packers, the Cheeseheads in Wisconsin. Who you got, Coach?
This is definitely a Chiefs trap game because the Packers got a little momentum, like guys said in Friday, from beating the Lions, and this is Patrick Mahomes' first time in Lambeau, so he doesn't know what it's gonna be like. I know he's been in some cold, but he hasn't been in an atmosphere like that. So if his receivers don't flake out, the Chiefs are going to win, but I don't think it's going to be as cut and dry as everybody thinks it is.
So you're picking
Chiefs.
It sounds like the Packers from your commentary. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it's a trap game. It's a trap game, but I think the Chiefs will pull it out. But it's going to be close.
All right. VP said, Red Coach, it's easy one. Jess will cook up a dub on this one. Chris Jones will eat a lot. Winston throwing cheese. Red says Mahomes over the love doctor. Lexus Hill Chiefs. VP says I love coaches. Momentum.
That's a John Witherspoon.
Red said Taylor can afford winter clothes. Red, she's going to support her guy. I don't know in the freezing cold. I don't know. All right, on to the next one. Bengals versus Jaguars. This is on me. The Jaguars have been playing phenomenal football recently, so I'm not going to go against them against the Bengals, who have a backup quarterback. It seems like Sunshine has found his groove with his top receiver, Calvin Ridley. I wish they had found that groove a lot sooner in the fantasy football season because I had Ridley just killing me in fantasy football. I even dropped him. Thankfully, nobody in our league picked him up. So I got him back and I got him started. So please, Sunshine and Ridley, do not stop your football connection now. I need y'all to put it in the overdrive so I can compete fantasy football wise. But give me Sunshine over the Browns backup. Who you got, Coach?
The Bengals, Jake the Snake won't be able to beat the Jaguars. I'm sorry. He doesn't have a chance. The Bengals are going to free fall. And I know Chase is looking pretty mad right now because he has what Joe Burrow to throw to him. So he's feeling kind of sad. So it's going to be the Jaguars.
Got the Jaguars. Hard's going back to the last game, said KC think Rice one, wide receiver one now. The jury is definitely out on that. He's looked good the last couple of games. Still not sold, man, especially what happened in that Eagles game. But he's looking pretty good. Chiefs definitely need somebody on that receiving corps to emerge as the wide receiver number one because defenses are definitely trying to take Travis Kelce out. So if he can be a one, that'd be great. Winston going back to the game says Jags. Red says Sunshine over the Bengals backup. The VP says Jags and the Surfer Boy by 10. So he's looking at the Jags taking care of Bengals business pretty good on tomorrow. On to the last game, 49ers versus Eagles. This game is in Philadelphia. All eyes will be in Philadelphia during the 4 o'clock hour on tomorrow. Tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow. That's Andy right there. Feeling my entertainment spirit coming on since Red is not here talk entertainment. But anyway, Coach, who you got?
Oh, boy. The Eagles, I think the Eagles, they're not looking forward past the 49ers to get when you play Dallas next week. But the 49ers are going to be right here and right now. They fully loaded on offense and defense, I believe. I don't think there's any major injury. So I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Dang, Coach, I thought this was the game I was going to get on you. And here you go. Here you go. Going with the team that I've been predicting to beat the Eagles. I've been telling my members, y'all get ready for a good showdown with Dallas because it's going to be for first place next week because the 49ers are fully loaded. The Eagles have gotten by the last 2 weeks on a wing and a prayer. And I don't think the wing and the prayer is going to help them tomorrow in Philadelphia because McCaffrey's healthy, Debo's healthy, Kittle is healthy, and Brock Purdy has all those weapons at his disposal. And I think the 49ers are going to make some noise on Broad Street tomorrow. So I'm thankful that this game is at 4 o'clock and not 1 o'clock, so my members will not be rushing to get home and miss out on communion because they're going to need to break bread with Jesus tomorrow to help comfort them after this game tomorrow. So I'm going with the Niners as well. All right, let's see what Reverend Night Nation has to say. Winston says 49ers with the revenge. Red says Niners for once. EE girls won't escape this week. Alexis Hill got the Eagles. VP says my heart says Purdy will have a solid game. My football mind says Fred Warner, Boza, and Young are going to have to hurry Hurts. My secondary is my biggest worry. If 49ers D-line doesn't get the Hurts, my secondary will give up some big plays. I don't know if you have to really worry about big plays because Jalen Hurts is not a big play quarterback. You know, big play for him would be a nice scramble here or there. He scrambles with a nice 20, 30-yard run. I think the addition of Chase Young really makes the difference because when you got Young and Bosa on each side of that defensive line, that's a formidable, decent defensive line. And remember, man, Mr. 49er VP, y'all have not lost a game with Chase Young on the team. So I think y'all got a lot to be looking forward to on tomorrow. And I'll be in position to comfort the football sick and shut-in in Pennsylvania. The 9 kilo. And I forgot Ayuk. Yes, he's on my team. I need him to eat. Debo will serve as great decoys. Purdy, all eyes on you. Brown and Smith are my worries. I wouldn't be as worried. But you all got the offense to keep putting points on the board. And the Eagles secondary, I think, struggles more than you all secondary. So we'll see. But looking forward to some great football on tomorrow. That ends our pick'ems for this week. And thank you all for joining and picking the games with us on this week. Well, Coach, I'm so glad we've had this time together. It's time to close out the show with one of our favorite segments. You have the right. Red says I'll post my picks on our page as well later, fellas. Back to work. Man, you had the longest lunch break. Almost a 2-hour lunch break, brother. All right. Good, man. Make that money, man. We'll look for your picks. VP said it's going to be the game of the year tomorrow. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Who has the right to do what, when, where, and how, Coach? What you got?
Bronny James, you have the right to play basketball, and I pray that everything goes well for you and you are able to play a full season and continue your basketball career. I hope that you are blessed with good health and you have the right to show everybody why they consider you a top ball player.
All righty. And this is very simple. And this, you have the right, this pertaining today, Georgia Bulldogs. You have the right to take your college football fate out of the hands of the College Football Committee by just simply continuing your winning streak, win the SEC championship, and that will stamp your next week or next game in the college playoff to contend for a three-peat. So you have the right to take care of Bama. Let Nick Saban know, Kirby Smart, there's a new college football sheriff in town, and he resides in Athens and not in Tuscaloosa. All right. That concludes episode 303 of the Red and Rev Sports Show. We want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Reverend Knight Nation, for showing up and showing out as you all normally do. We will be back next week, same Facebook page, same YouTube channel at 11 o'clock. And we'll be talking about all that went down this past week. The VP says, great show, fellas. Have a safe and fabulous week. Beats my Gamecock women's basketball team ends their trip down to Tobacco Road tomorrow against Duke. Took down UNC on Thursday. Finish the job, please. All right, man. Good luck to your Gamecock gals as they play Duke on tomorrow. Well, Coach, good show, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. And thanks for holding the ship down when I'm not here. Hopefully I'll be back next week. And pray for your boy safe travels. I'll be in the ATL a little bit on next week. Matter of fact, I'll be doing the show from the ATL next week. Because my flight to come back to Pennsylvania is not until Saturday night. Nevertheless, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful week. Enjoy some great college and pro football. Enjoy some basketball and enjoy the NBA in-season tournament that will officially start with the actual tournament next Tuesday. So I'm sure we'll have some commentary about that. Peace and love, everybody. Have a great day and enjoy this football on today. Peace.
Rev quite soon.